Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the History of Fan Anime. I'm your host, William Chow, and in today's episode, one of those great episodes you always like, is another interview. And today's I'm going to interview my friend Richard, who's been a long time, it's a long time friend that sort of got in really early when I just started, my getting into anime and that kind of stuff, she's get into the various different stories of that. But again, before I begin, I want to remind people to go down below, click like, click subscribe. Definitely, even just doing something simple as hitting like, really does help the YouTube algorithm. Again, now my friend Richard here, okay, I'll just warn you in advance, okay. He is, very knowledgeable and resourceful. He very touches on a lot of different topics and that kind of stuff, and is knowledgeable of a whole bunch of different fields, including computer tech, and he has a lot of experiences in different things. He has very broad range of views and very interesting, some really far ideas and theories and concepts, which a lot of people don't think about. So he's a really good person to talk about different ideas and bounce ideas off of. But there's one thing that I'll tell you, I'll warn you right away. He's not afraid to give his opinion, and he doesn't pull punches. Okay, so if you want, if he believes in something, or likes to talk about something, has a view on particular something, he won't hide or candy coated in any way. So I'm gonna have to be a little interesting because again, this is YouTube, so I may actually have to make a special version for the Patreon, just because some of his the things are really riveting, as it were, and might be even too hot for YouTube. So we'll see. I think we're going to team up and do quite a few episodes. So again, yeah, you don't want to do that. Again, I do have my links for the super thanks and the PayPal and Patreon links below if you want to support me financially. This is the last week for the anime giveaway number 5. So if you haven't put in your selections, or want any goodies and that kind of stuff, this is your last week to do it. Again, any members that are, or subscribers that already have done a subscription or have donated, you do get first pick and do get a priority pick. So again, your pick get put above everyone else's as the first line there. Again, links below for that. Again, I've already posted all 4 videos, and I've posted the shipping instructions. So again, if you're interested in something, put it into the comments below, or in the shipping instructions below that one. And there's still quite a bit of stuff left on there. There's still lots of CDs and that kind of stuff. And I do believe some of I think most of the figures are still there. I think even the Madoka is still available. I think even the Sailor Moon might even be still there. But do check it out if you haven't. Check it out again. And if there's something you're interested in, let me know, and I'll see what I can do. All right. So today's topic is my friend Richard. I'm going to do a series of interviews with him. Again, we've done a lot of things. We've done done the road trips down to San Diego Comic Con and Anime Expo. He's worked on various different projects and that kind of stuff with the anime fan subs and that kind of stuff. And he was there during the very beginnings. Now again, I've already warned you that he's very to the point. Okay, he won't hide around something, and he won't pussyfoot around. If he has an idea, an opinion, and as radical as it may be, he will let you know, and he'll be real straight up forward, honest, and that kind of stuff. So again, he's because of this, he can come up with some pretty good stories, and he's been around the block a while, so he also has some really good stories, and so definitely. If you want to make comments to that, and if you want him to explore a particular idea, I do plan to do more interviews with him. You want to want more on a particular topic, or would like to see how I react to some of the stuff, because he's he's a good person to bounce ideas and maybe get me to answer and come up with things that I maybe not really have touched, and that's what part of the reason why I wanted to talk more with him, because there are definitely certain things that aren't talked about very much, and this will definitely help give you some ideas on that. So again, if you got a comment, leave a comment below, and that'll give me some more questions to ask Richard next time he comes on. Right, so I'm sure you could. That sort of leads over here, and you were warned. All right. So, without further delay, let's get into the interview with Richard. So what did you get interested in anime first? Because I remember early times you really liked Fist of the North Star. I don't know if it's just because it was the martial arts type of thing.
To tell you the truth, I started in animation stuff. How far back? I'm trying to think about as far back as I could.
Yeah, because obviously my influences came from Saturday morning cartoons and that kind of stuff. But
it was mostly Saturday morning cartoons in the West, but I knew about this stuff as far back as young as I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
Because my parents and my mother's side of the family used to bring stuff to me, and I used to own stuff, and I was like, what is this shit? And I didn't know any of it.
Yeah.
The first one that I got involved in from Austin stuff, the first toys I got, and the first thing I got involved in was mostly Ultraman.
Oh yeah.
And some of those Saturday morning Japanese, giant
robot shows.
Not giant robot shows, but it was the superhero shows.
Okay, right.
Or now they know them as Kaku Rangers or
Rangers
or whatever. But back then,
it was
motorcycle suits, and they would, some weird shit would happen. They'd go into a giant size, like Ultraman or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was my beginning, because I still have the figure somewhere.
That's cool. Okay. Yeah.
I have an Ultraman. It was either Ultraman Ace or something. I didn't know what it was when I was a kid. I just had this doll.
Yeah.
And then people, my mother's side of the family, would give me this stuff. I would have these collector's cards of these fucking dudes that were in latex suits. I was like. Sure. And then the Saturday morning cartoon started in the West. So what was the first one I used to watch? Other than reading, I read a lot of Astro Boy as a kid. And then and the first cartoon I saw on TV was this fucking show called Marine Boy.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
With a fucking dolphin, and kid could swim under the water with his fucking boomerang and shit, chew some kind of weird gum, and then it was Star Blazers,
that was really different.
Battle of the Planets.
Even back then, I didn't get any of that stuff. I didn't.
Oh, it's all on TV.
I know. I might have got like Captain Hawk and French.
Yeah. It was It wasn't even called Captain Harlock. It was called Albator.
Albator,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So I saw that shit when I was a kid.
Yeah, I never seen that stuff, but I never. And I like I said, even things like Power Rangers and all that, I've never got to see that kind of stuff.
The funny thing about anime is, even though they tried to mature it, nobody has sort of mixed genres. I don't watch it that much. There's people tell me something, I'm watching it, okay, right? But nobody has converged it to make it a medium where it is completely uncensored. And what I mean by uncensored is to the level of like movies or TV shows.
Okay, right.
Like, can somebody make something like Succession and do it with anime?
Okay, yeah.
See what I mean? Or can you take a Bertolucci movie or something by Ridley Scott and do it the same level of epic proportions in anime? I've never seen anybody. Okay, you want to go into porn? Okay, there's tons of porn out there.
Yeah.
Porn has got so popular now; it's all screen, right? How come nobody's done that as an art form? And take it explore really weird genres of sex and subculture and everything else, fetish, whatever. It's not dynamic. It's almost like they say that in Japan they don't censor anything. You got all kinds of fetishes over there. All kinds of freaks and weirdos, and it's everything goes as long as you don't hurt anybody. It's consensual, whatever. But nobody takes that genre of information in that culture and matches what they do in the West. We got a lot of freaks out there. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Okay, and in the West and Europe and everything, dude, I can tell you about shit that even from this one woman I know who's in corporate. about shit that happens out there. But here's a good example. Can you depict something where this man and woman meet, the guy brings a shit ton of coke, like, Scarface level. Yeah. They do tons of coke and then they have sex and they did so much coke that they're fucking bleeding from their orifices. Can you do that in anime? Right? You may depict it in a movie, Leaving Las Vegas, or you may depict it in a movie, right? And you depict weird shit like that, maybe an Aronofsky movie, but nobody does this in anime. They have the medium, they have the talent, they have definitely the fucking, people that are crazy that can think of this shit up. But most of it sort of stops at a certain level. They don't go all the way. And that's one thing I've never understood. Why? I mean, it's not like the genre has been around for less than 5 years. We've fucking had this shit for the last 30 years. Yeah. So why don't they go beyond?
Richard brings out an interesting point that, why, in our day, when, let's say in the 90s, when that kind of stuff, when capital was rich and, ideas were really, groundbreaking. We had some really, good animes that sort of came out. It's still partially there, but now everyone's really cautious about things. I think their own view of what, they invest money in and that kind of stuff. We want surefire things. Metrics show that, change some names. Let's change it from, instead of a guy falling from here and going to Gaia, like Escaflowne, or, let's change it to like, a girl falling into, medieval Japan, like Inuyasha, or, let's make them fall into, another, like a parallel world, of the Vishnu and that kind of stuff, which is Shirato, or let's make the person fall into this other world, and her friend falls into the other part of the faction that's in this world. I think that's Fushigi Yugi, or let's kill the character off and let's put him into this and you can kind of get where I'm going at here is that we're just following the same formula, and that kind of thing, plot devices and that kind of stuff that's gone over and over again because it works. Okay, if we just continue selling the same idea, we're going to get similar numbers, similar metrics, and ideally similar profits, right? And this is great and dandy as a corporate idea. But the problem is that in terms of anime, this isn't really that interesting. This isn't really exciting because we're just copying the same story over and over again in relatively short time, and it doesn't make it interesting. I mean, sure, maybe, after all the isekais that sort of came out, some kind of stood out more than others for their type of things, but other ones were just going to get left behind because it seems like it's the same thing. For example, you come up with Escaflowne, great. Then you come up with Fushigi Yugi right after that. Okay. Then all of a sudden you got like Aishi no Series, right, which is kind of one that's sort of based on Fushigi Yugi, but most people don't really know about that one. And then you get into this huge long series like Inuyasha, and like, how long can you keep doing this story? How long before some titles are just going to just start dropping out of people's mind and out of the public eye, right? And I think that's what the problem is that if someone comes up with a great smashing idea, a committee or something or whatever, it just doesn't give the director or the story writer or anything like that. But yeah, I think that's one of the problems that we have for at least the modern animes.
Like, if you're going to do art, okay, this is my view, okay, and I don't want to call myself a consummate artist, but if you're going to do art, push it beyond the edge, right? Like, recently when I went to my trip in Seattle for a week, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not connected with everything out there. I have my focuses on the things I like, mostly human behavior stuff, but a friend's cousin put on this disc from the library. I was like, what the fuck? Couldn't really nail the musical genre, right? It's kind of a mix. And I picked it and I say, hey, let me see the CD. I was like, what the fuck? It's a Linkin Park CD from 2010. And I was like, I didn't know about this album. It's a pretty fucking way ahead of its time. Like what we're having happening now, this album talks about these things, right? Like about substance abuse, the environment, global warming, existential dread about nuclear war, shit like that. Like, holy shit, like, mind blown, right? 2010 album, they're already talking about this shit. And that's why Linkin Park, even though they're defunct, people still listen to their shit. Right? They want to get back to, but Chester Bennington, Bennington died, and so they just ended their group. That's what I'm saying. It's like, gold, platinum album. Fuck, how come they don't do this shit with them? I'm thinking about this. It's like, you and I'm not into it anymore. You've been in it for about 30 years.
Yeah.
How come they don't do that shit? And that's a subject you can't even talk about.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's almost like they
like, is there a guy that's a Linkin Park level type of anime guy that does the fucking music, the culture, this and that, clothing line, merchandise, fucking just like Linkin Park has a lot of merchandise, but consummate. Number one, they're musicians first. And I've listened to their music, and some of it's love hate, but this album blew me away. I was listening to it, I was like, holy shit, you guys were holding back. And it wasn't a loved album. It's an underrated album. I thought it was a fucking great album. Because most of the Linkin Park stuff to me is like, okay, teenage angst, existential dread, blah, blah, blah. Who gives a shit, right?
Yeah.
And you can dance to it.
Yeah.
But this album was fucking fantastic. But I'm thinking, with anime, come on, you fucking guys. Push the envelope. Do something with it. I may have complained to you about this even back then.
Yeah. I think a lot of it has to do with corporate. It's not. It used to be a director could take control of a project and take it wherever he wanted it to take. He can storyboard it the way he wanted it to, whatever, right?
But you got art houses that do this stuff now.
Yeah, but now
anybody can do it. Like, listen, you got AI. You've got everybody going to fucking film school. You got all these kids
100%,
that
but
can
the problem is
utilize software tools.
Yeah.
Like, I saw this one guy.
But
he did all the Star Wars stuff with anime. He's doing it better than Lucas. Right?
Yeah.
Hire this motherfucker.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Look at what he's doing.
The problem is it's not under their control anymore. It's
well,
under
it is a fucking business.
It's under a committee, right? And as usual, you're gonna get some,
I don't care. I care about art.
No, exactly. You
I don't give a
some
shit about
leftist or you're gonna get some rightist on there.
I just care about art, right? I don't give a shit about
all these other people, right?
Richard touches on the point that a lot of the great ideas and maybe full either director's control or even writer's control of particular projects are being inhibited by like committees and other shall we say governing bodies, shall we say. People that have financial interests and other sort of interests have all try to get their fingers into the into the pie, as it were. And when you have too many cooks and too many people trying to do their checklist and stuff, that in the end can compromise the outcome of the product. And I think we were finding this out in a lot of a lot of the Disney failures, Marvel failures and that kind of stuff, just because of all this extra stuff that's going on. Things in the anime community is probably much the same. The fact that a lot of these things are done by committees, and the heads of different particular groups and that kind of stuff, all worried about the financials and the ability for animes to produce numbers and that kind of stuff to ensure its continued success, right? So a lot of things are being done cautiously. They're kind of not willing to go against the model, shall we say? And I think that's common for entertainment in general. Without being able to shall we say push the envelope, we're not getting a lot of new things, and that could be why we're getting rather similar and rather same kind of genres, shall we say? Too much isekai, for example. They're just playing it safe, and they're not pushing that artistic envelope to see what else can be tapped. Okay, I hope you found that really interesting. Again, I do plan to do more different episodes with Richard because he has a lot to to comment on. And again, if you have any sorts of topics you want to suggest, or you want more elaboration on something, maybe to actually spend an episode talking about a particular concept, by all means, leave a message below, and then I'll make sure the next time I touch base with them, we'll get more on that. All right. So until next time, I will see you again.